She was on her way home, just a block from her apartment in downtown Atlanta, carrying a small grocery bag and humming softly to herself. Dressed in simple, professional clothes, black slacks, white blouse, and a gray blazer, she looked like just another tired citizen after a long day. But for Officer Grady Willis, none of that mattered. The cruiser pulled up fast beside her, tires scraping the edge of the sidewalk. Before she could react, he was out of the vehicle, barking commands. "Stop right there. Hands where I can see them." She froze, startled, her fingers reflexively opening to drop the grocery bag. A single apple rolled into the gutter. "What's going on?" she asked, trying to remain calm. "I live just here." Grady didn't care. "We got a call about a suspicious black female in the area," he snapped. "You match the description. Hands behind your back. Now." "Suspicious for walking home?" she asked, incredulous. "Resisting already, huh?" He grinned cruelly, pulling zip-tie cuffs tight around her wrists before slamming her onto the hood of his car. People passed by. Some looked. No one intervened. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She'd seen enough to know how these things ended. Instead, she tried to remember every detail, names, faces, badge number if she could catch it. Inside the holding cell, it got worse. No Miranda rights, no phone call. She was fingerprinted and photographed without explanation. When she asked what the charge was, she was told she was being uncooperative. The system would sort it out later. Hours passed. Then came the indignity. Courtroom. A female officer with an electric clipper. "Standard decontamination procedure," she said flatly. "I'm a law-abiding citizen," the woman pleaded. "I want to speak to an attorney." But they didn't listen. They shaved her head. Her hair fell in tufts to the floor. Her eyes stung, but she refused to let a single tear fall, not in front of them, not in that room. 3 minutes later, the door slammed open. Officer Grady strolled in, still smug, still sure of himself until he saw the paperwork in the folder on the table. Until he saw her name. Until the mugshot flashed on the nearby screen. His jaw locked. Presiding Judge Naomi Ellison, the folder read. And then everything stopped. Grady's face went pale. He tried to mask it, but the sudden shift in his posture was unmistakable. The officers around him, once so smug and silent, now stared at each other with dread. The woman in the chair, bald and bound, didn't speak. She didn't have to. Her name said everything. Judge Naomi Ellison, one of the most respected criminal court judges in the state, known for her fierce defense of civil rights and sharp memory for every case and every face. And she remembered his. "Yet, get her out of those cuffs," someone finally muttered. The female officer rushed forward, fumbling with the ties, her hands trembling. Naomi stood up slowly, her expression unreadable. Her voice was calm, controlled, colder than winter steel. "I need a phone. I will be making a formal statement." No one dared object. Within the hour, the police chief was in the building. Then the mayor's office called. Then the press. Naomi had already made her move. She didn't scream or shout. She simply asked the internal surveillance to be pulled. Every angle, every word recorded, every second of the humiliation captured. The footage went viral in under 2 hours. Black woman shaved, mistreated, no charges, later identified as a sitting judge. The city trembled. Grady tried to justify himself. "It was standard protocol, I didn't know." But no one was buying it. The court of public opinion was already in session, and the verdict came fast. By sunrise, the city was on fire with headlines. Judge Ellison assaulted in holding cell. A racist procedure or isolated incident. Bald but unbroken, a judge's silent defiance. Grady didn't show up to roll call. The precinct was quiet, and the silence was heavy. Every cop felt it. The system they relied on to protect them now stared back with questions. Naomi's story had made it impossible to ignore. In a press conference on the courthouse steps, Naomi stood tall, still bald, still composed. "My name is Naomi Ellison. I am a judge in this city. Yesterday I was treated like a criminal not because I broke any law, but because I fit a profile, because I am black." The crowd was silent. "And the most terrifying part?" she continued. "This isn't rare, it's routine." Her words were played on every screen, here in classrooms, in courtrooms, in homes, and inside the prison, where a former defendant of hers saw the broadcast. "I knew she was real," he whispered to no one. "They came for her too." Social media exploded. Bald but no broken justice for Naomi Scheisse judge. Grady? He was already being investigated. The city had no choice. Naomi wasn't suing for money. She wanted something more painful. Change. Internal policies were frozen. Review boards assembled overnight. Naomi began attending every hearing, this time as both judge and survivor. People stopped her in the street to thank her, or to cry with her, to tell their own stories. And still, she never cried. Not once. Because she knew the war had just begun. The city's courthouse had never been so full. Rows upon rows of seats were packed with lawyers, journalists, students, and victims of the very system Naomi had been part of and had now exposed. She entered not through the back, like most judges, but through the front doors. With cameras flashing, she walked down the aisle, not to the bench, but to testify. Against the department, against the policies, against the fear. A full public hearing was underway. "I was detained without charge," Naomi stated, "stripped of my dignity, and all of this before anyone bothered to learn my name." The chief of police sat nearby, silent. The mayor wrung her hands nervously. One by one, other victims spoke. "A teenage boy falsely arrested walking home from school. A nurse detained for loitering on her own porch. A lawyer mistaken for a suspect due to his skin color." Naomi's voice echoed through the chamber. "This isn't about me. This is about all of us." The nation was watching, live. Late-night hosts made it a top story. Celebrities posted her speech in solidarity. Petitions reached millions of signatures. An independent review commission was formed, something the city had resisted for decades. Then came the internal tapes. Audio from officers mocking Naomi before realizing who she was, laughing as her hair was cut. Public fury reignited. Grady? He was arrested, charged with misconduct, unlawful arrest, abuse of power, and violation of civil rights. His trial was set and Naomi would be the key witness. She was offered private settlements. She refused them all. "I don't want money. I want a mirror held up to every badge that believes power is permission." Outside the courtroom, a mural appeared. Naomi, bald, standing tall, hand raised in defiance. Below it, we saw her. We believe her. It wasn't just a personal battle anymore. It was a national reckoning.